Hi, I'm Carissa from Refurb to Invest, bringing you another amazing episode of Monday Morning Insights. All right, so I want to share this topic today because when I talk to landlords every day, sometimes I come across landlords that say to me, I want to invest in my property, but I don't want to vacate the tenant. So I want to walk through this because if you're investing into your property, you're there for a purpose. It's not your dream home. It's not where you're living, where you choose, I want to fix the bathroom because I don't like it. I want to have a nicer deck so I can entertain. Different when it's a rental property. Why? Because it's about your return on investment. It's about your income. It's about your equity. It's about your tax benefits and implications. You want to make it a business transaction. So how can you make the most money out of your property in the best amount of time and know that your property is always working to build your wealth? It's always proactive, it's always growing, and it's always getting you more and more and more. So when we do a strategic uplift, we're doing it for a rental property because we want to see that there's an increase in the rental. So we're talking about a rundown property that we've determined has potential to get more income and instant asset value, which means there's equity that can be unlocked to then further buy another property and further build your portfolio. So when a landlord says to me, I want to invest, but I want to keep the tenant, I'm thinking, okay, so if you want to invest, that means you're expending money, you're improving your property, that's fantastic. But if the same tenant stays in the property, and let's say, for example, you can get $200 more a week, that's where your market value will now be from the existing level of the property condition to getting it to this level. $200 more a week. And I get these every day on its head, all the time, that we've got differences of that much. That's an extra 10 grand a year. That's massive amount. So if we're talking that much difference, are you telling me you're happy to invest into your property, but leave the same tenant because you just don't want to have it vacant at all? And then who's closing the gap of that $200? Because I guarantee you a tenant is not going to be like, yeah, I'll pay $200 more a week because you did a quick uplift to the property. That same tenant, because now we're talking a different caliber of tenant. If a tenant is happy to pay the lower end for a lower end property, they are not the one that's going to spend higher end for more of a higher end property because you've now gone and transformed it. So I really want to position this for you guys. So when you get to the stage of wanting to look at your property, and I hope you've been playing a lot of our previous insights, especially last week's one, where we talked about what steps you need to do to set yourself up for this year on knowing you've got the most amount of rental, the most amount of equity, and how to do that, who to speak to, and how to make sure you've done the right health check on your investment property. Don't rely on the people that you pay to manage it and to check things off to make sure you're growing your asset the best possible way. So that's what we discussed last week. So this week, I want to say, well, then once you've determined that your property needs work, when is the right time to do it? Because it's not about, let's just do it any time. One, depending on the work you're doing, do you want to do that with a tenant? That could be a hazard. That might mean they're going to ask for a rent reduction because you're putting them out. What is it that's going to add value to your property, leaving the tenant in there? Not usually. So you would want to look at when the lease is up, look at what notice you need to give your tenant, and look at what will then happen if you were to vacate that tenant, do the work, and how much more rent you can get with a new tenant. Because we're talking different caliber of tenants here. We're talking someone who might have more of a lower end budget because of maybe their setup, maybe whatever their case is, compared to maybe more of a business owner or someone with a more professional job where they're getting paid more, so they've got more income to be able to afford more rent, and they want a nicer property, and they'll look after it better for you too. So there's different caliber of tenants. Don't assume that every tenant is the same. They're not. a family versus a single, a couple versus a family. Everything is different. A family with one child to a family with 5 kids. Every type of family, every type of tenant is different. So knowing the level of what you're trying to achieve based on what's the income, what's the condition of your property. When you're increasing the value of your property, increasing the aesthetics of your property, you want more rent. So that is going to more than cover the investment you've just put in. So you're getting a return on investment. That is the whole point. Plus, you're getting instant asset value, so you've got extra equity. So please, when you're at the point of, okay, I'm considering looking at doing things to my property, plan in advance so you've got time to make sure you minimize your downtime and look at removing the tenant so you can get what you need done fast and get a new tenant back in there. But remember, when you're factoring your budgets, allow that there's going to be a period of time with no tenant. So you need to factor in the cost of your mortgage, factor in that as a cost to what you're investing so you can ensure that you're working at getting your return on investment. Guys, I'm Carissa from Refurb to Invest. You guys know how passionate I am about this. It's not about renovating for the fun of it. It's about getting an ROI. It's about more money in your pocket. It's about more tax benefits. It's about doing the right work that's going to get you the right increase in rental, the right increase in asset value to build your portfolio. That's what Refurb to Invest is all about. That's what my team's about. That's what I'm about, as if it was my own property. That's what I like to do for our whole team to guide our clients in getting more out of their property. So if you're in need of checking whether there's value in your property, please feel free to reach out for an audit. And if you mention this video, you may still get it complimentary, as we are now starting to charge our audits. They're no longer free. But if you do mention this video, I'll still hold the complimentary price up till February. So guys, I hope you got a lot out of this. I hope this helps you plan in advance for your strategy, for your facelift, to get more and the most out of your property. Cheers.